All right. Hi, everybody. This is Dr. Sonia McGowan with Covenant Integrative Wellness, and I'm here today with Sherry Suddreth. She is sweet little Paxton's mom, and I just wanted to visit with her and talk with her about her family's journey with Paxton and their diagnosis and what she's experienced so far. So, hi, Sherry. Thanks for being here.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Tell me a little bit about Paxton.
So Paxton's birthday was yesterday. He just turned 4.
Oh my gosh.
And he was a typical developing baby. And then right around he was 1, right around his first birthday, I noticed he wasn't talking like his other children his age. And so I just thought we were looking at maybe speech therapy to, get that moving.
Mm-hmm.
And then ever since he was evaluated for that, because in North Carolina, you have to go through the infant toddler program, and they have to, do testing and stuff to get you into speech therapy. And so when they came, I remember I was like 5 weeks pregnant with my little one. I was really like just hormonal. And, I was like, surely I'm overthinking things, but you don't think that he has autism because he wasn't speaking.
Mm-hmm.
And after they did their testing, they said, well, it is a possibility. We're not going to tell you it's not a possibility. And ever since then, it's been just a whirlwind of, I just started doing my research because I didn't know a thing about autism. I didn't know anything. And, I didn't think that's what we were looking at, but here we are. And he did end up getting diagnosed right before his 3rd birthday.
So how did you feel when they said those words to you?
I'm not going to lie. I sobbed. Like I sobbed right in front of him. Like I lost it completely right in front of him because, the little research I had done, it wasn't very hopeful. It was kind of like, this is what your future's looking at if this is the case. And I was devastated. I was also very newly pregnant with my little one, who's now 2. I cried and cried because I'm thinking, not only am I nervous about my firstborn and his future, but now I have a little one that I didn't even know if it was a boy or a girl, and the boy's chances of being diagnosed are way higher. And so I was like, oh, what if I'm carrying another child that might have autism too? And I cried. And I'll be honest with you, that night I literally cried in my prayers to God, and I said, you have the wrong one. I told him, I can't do this. Like, and it kind of makes me sad, like thinking about it all over again. I think that most autism moms have PTSD thinking about those times.
Yeah.
Not even autism moms, just any moms that have, worries and concerns. But I cried to him. I said, you have the wrong one. I can't do this. Like, I'm not this strong. I can't do this. Like, I had a set path that I thought we would be on, and I really just didn't want to be there. And it was so selfish of me and so wrong of me. And I knew that, and I admitted it. And it was hard. It was very hard, but not long after that prayer, it was within weeks that we changed churches. And so we were in this one church where my son was the only one in his Sunday school class. And I thought, well, he needs to be around other kids. We loved our church for us, my husband and I, but we felt like he needed to be around other, developing children.
Yeah.
So we switched churches, and it was there that Sunday school teachers introduced me to another mom who, her son is, I believe he's 7 now, and he has autism, diagnosed severe when he was little. She has an incredible story. He was diagnosed severe, and it was just really heartbreaking for her. And then she found Rogue Recovery and Taka, and we met for coffee. And she told me all about it, and she put me in all these Facebook groups. And it was right then that I felt like God strategically put her in my life to put me on the path. And it's like, that's all I needed was that little bit of hope to show me like, hey, like his future is not set in stone. It's not concrete, you know? And ever since then, here we are.
Oh my gosh. So you found support from that particular mom. What
Yes.
about support from other people in your life?
So in the beginning, it was really hard, you know, just on all different kinds of aspects, you know, because your mother instincts are raging. You're nervous, you know, for your child. And, you know, I'm finding that my story is more common than I thought. You know, I had my husband that was thinking there's nothing wrong with him. Like, I don't know why you're even researching things with autism. You know, my in-laws, my own parents, everybody was like, he's just being a boy, you know, like he'll talk whenever he talks. You know, some kids don't talk till they're 4 and he'll get there. And in my mind, I was very alone and very isolated because it was literally like I'm sitting here. My mind is just in a whirlwind of what is going on, and I'm all alone in it. Everybody else is essentially thinking you're crazy.
Right.
So in the beginning, it's really hard.
Yeah. And so how do you think you turned that around with your family?
You know, the more research that I did, the more I had concrete evidence to show them, okay, things are lining up. But it honestly wasn't until Paxton got a little bit older, then, you know, things started showing up a little bit more. He still wasn't talking, you know, right around his 2nd birthday, and everybody else was like miles ahead of him. He had obvious sensory issues going on, all the stimming, and everyone at that point, it was kind of apparent that things were different with Paxton. You know, but I would say it wasn't even until I went and got the diagnosis that, you know, my husband and I at that point were expecting it, but it wasn't until we got the actual diagnosis that everybody was like, okay, you know, I guess that is what it is. But now it's fine.
Do you feel like it took a long time or too long to get his diagnosis, or do you think it went along the way you would have expected?
You know, I think that I could have gotten it earlier, and I think this is what I tell other parents whenever I talk to other parents. I feel like you have to do what's right for your child, but you also have to do what's right for you at the same time. So in my case, I had his therapist saying, you know, in the beginning, I don't think he has autism. Then it was, you know, he maybe has autism, but it would be mild if he does. And, you know, it got to a point where my mind was like, what is this? I think it's autism, but what if it's, you know, sensory processing disorder? Or what if it's, you know, something else? And I did not want for someone in my own story to take one look at him, somebody that never met him, because you see horror stories sometimes. And I didn't want somebody to take one look at him and, you know, point at him and say, yes, you have autism, and, you know, his future is bad, and, you know, look at group homes and stuff like that. I mean, I've seen horror stories. And so for me, it took a little bit of self-encouraging to figure out the right way of going about getting his diagnosis. He was already in his therapies, and he was thriving in speech, physical therapy, and occupational therapy. He was doing well in all of them. The only thing missing with the diagnosis was ABA therapy in North Carolina. We're light years behind a lot of other states, so we don't really get a whole lot of options when it comes to therapies. But so for me, we went with a place that takes 3 different days of evaluations and 2 different people, because they take into account, you know, sometimes kids have bad days. And so for us and my family, it was the perfect fit the way he was diagnosed. It was right at the time that we needed it and wanted it. Everybody was on board, and it was the right way to go about it.
Nice. So you said he was coming along fine until he was a year old, and he regressed. Do you have any inkling about why that happened that way?
So the more that I've learned throughout this journey, I will say that I think that genetically, I feel Paxton's body is wired different from a lot of kids. And I know that Paxton was sick often, in and out of the doctors. Doctors kept sending us home. There's nothing we could do with the virus, go home. At some point, they even gave me a like an asthma breathing machine or something. That did nothing. Literally all the time. And then when it was his first birthday, and I was very diligent about getting his shots, and on his first birthday, was on, Panthers were in the Super Bowl on that Sunday, was his birthday. And so we had a Panther Super Bowl. I have like pictures and videos of him, and you can see like snot coming out of his nose. You can see he just didn't feel well in the pictures. Super happy kid. You could just see in the pictures he was also a little overwhelmed, I think, with probably everybody there, but you could just see in the pictures he didn't feel well. The next day on Monday was his well check, because I was extremely on time all the time with his appointments. And so that Monday I went and I saw his doctor, and, you know, at the end of it, I said, what do you think about his shots? You know, because he's not been feeling well and I'm nervous. And he said, well, you know, it's totally up to you. You can do it now, you can do it later. And I said, well, if it was you and your child, what would you do? Because he had no fever. And that's their little rule, you know, is if they have a fever, don't do it. But, you know, otherwise it's fine. And so he said, you know, if it was mine, I think it's fine. He has no fever. And I trusted him, and I still love his doctor, but I trusted him, and went ahead and did it. And you can see in the pictures that I have that I've held on to that he just wasn't the same after that. Like, he had started babbling a little bit, and after that, nothing, you know, and everything changed. Sensory issues got worse. Feeding issues, he ate everything, and then all of a sudden, like, he severely limited himself. Bathroom issues, just everything just started from there. So I think for me, and I think there's maybe different stories, but I think in our situation, I think Paxton's immune system couldn't handle it. You know, and so with you, we've been working on trying to get that immune system figured out.
I'm sorry that happened to you, and Paxton, because I know it's a controversial issue. Families have the same story, one family after another, you know, and then when you hear, you know, just the mainstream public saying, oh, that's not true, that can't happen, when you lived it yourself. You know,
it's hard.
So you mentioned that you've done speech and ABA and OT and PT. Have you done any other things besides what you mentioned?
Yeah. So in the very beginning, we started the Nemechek protocol, where we started fish oils and inulin, and cooking with the olive oil. You know, and we had gains from that, but Paxton's sensory issues went extreme, you know, and it was just kind of like, we were thinking, okay, well, it's kind of working, but then it's like, our child seems like he's gotten a lot worse, you know, at the same time. It was very confusing for us. We kept pushing along, and then eventually we learned that through you that Paxton has issues processing fatty acids with the fish oils. And so that protocol, you know, has helped a lot of people. We saw it help us a little bit, but for us, it was, you know, with the science behind it, it just, we saw it and the science backing it. It just wasn't the right fit for us. But so we tried that. Through the testing with you, we also found that he can't handle B vitamins. So a lot of the mitochondrial supports that we had tried for him kind of made him a little crazy. But we found the right one through you, and that was the mitochondrial and energy assist. That doesn't
it's like a miracle for him.
Yes, it's been wonderful for him.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we've done several tests with you. We did the stool test. We did the oat test, which was fantastic. And then we did the 23andMe genetic test. And we did the food allergy test. And so, you know, we've tried so many supplements, not hundreds of them, but we've tried handfuls of them to where some were amazing and some were not. So I would say that, you know, the mitochondrial supports with the B vitamins, the fish oils, the inulin, and also we found out that the Epsom salt bath that we had tried to give him, he can't process sulfur. And so we learned that that can't really work very well for him. But besides that, those are really the only things that didn't work very well for him. But we have been very happy with Gut Pro probiotic. He's using the bathroom. It's formed. It's amazing. He's going on the potty. Like, it's wonderful. We also do BioRay. We love BioRay. We love BioRay Happy and BioRay Calm. Every day for him has been a blessing. We love it. We notice it when he doesn't have it. It's awesome. And then the Mito Support, I think that that's it that we're doing daily right now. And then we're also doing MNRI, that reflex integration. That's been wonderful for him also. And I think that's it.
You guys are so together. You really, I know you said a prayer and you told God that he picked the wrong one, but look what you've done for your kid. I mean, it's amazing where he's come from.
Yeah, I feel like God has a funny way of just kind of like picking you up when you're down, as long as you're looking to him and for him. You know, I feel like everything's just fallen into place ever since that night. And I still don't feel like I am like this strong, you know, person out there. And, you know, like you think of like warrior moms, and I feel like I'm kind of a behind the scenes mom. I just want to help my kids succeed. I love them to death. And honestly, I'm privileged to learn this world. You know, it's very unfortunate. But I'm a lot smarter and a lot more conscious for my whole family. You know, we've done a whole turnaround. I mean, we've changed our, there's no more toxic chemicals in our house. We love our essential oils, and our family is so healthy. The kids get like random colds. I mean, they're both in school. But besides that, I mean, we don't have any issues. So, I mean, everyone around us is having flu right now. Everyone, but not us. Knock on wood. But
so, how did you find me?
I found you from when Krista put me into the Taka Facebook group. And then that kind of made me find the Rogue group, the Rogue Recovery group.
Right.
And then there was a girl that she wrote a post about her son, and she works with you. Her name is Jennifer. She works with you, and she was like, oh, you guys have to see Dr. Sonia. She's amazing. She did all of this for my son. And I literally like saw her post, and I was, you know, with all the confusing ways that the people tell you can help your child, here was like a concrete post of what her child was like, and now what her child is doing. And so I told my husband, look, we have to meet her. Like, And it was amazing ever since. I mean, and that fell into my lap. And ever since then, Jennifer and I are still friends. We talk.
Aw, I love that.
It's amazing. We have a lot in common, and we're very like-minded, and that's how I found you. And
Aw, that makes me happy. So one of the things I keep talking about in 2019 is that recovery, this is our year. Let's concentrate on recovery. So since we've been together, what kinds of even small recovery moments have you seen with Paxton?
Oh, I mean, with Paxton, I could probably go on and on and on and on about how lucky we are with him. We literally, God placed the right people in our lives, and with the amount of dedication that not only me, but like my husband supports me, and I have you, I have his amazing therapist, I have these incredible people that make these supplements, that care about knowledge and with our kids. And so Paxton, he wasn't talking at the beginning of this. He had sensory issues, food issues, bathroom issues, definite tantrums. I won't say he never did have like meltdowns or violent tendencies or anything, but definitely, he would have just frustration is a good word for it.
Yeah.
So now fast forward to, he just turned 4. He's talking. He's not quite all the way there yet. Like, he's not really like conversational with you. We have a while to go for that. But I mean, the difference is night and day. He woke up yesterday morning after he tossed and turned, and his sleep is fine. But he tossed and turned the night before last night on his birthday night. And, we thought, okay, well, maybe it's, we have moving boxes everywhere. But he woke up the next morning, and the first thing, he sat up and he said, "Cupcakes," because it was his birthday. And so he knew that it was his birthday, and he wanted cupcakes, because my daughter, her birthday is December 30th. And so, we did the whole birthday for her. And so he knew, and he picked out a birthday book and everything for us to read to him. And this is huge for Paxton. So he's using words very intentionally. He's not having nearly as much frustration from us not understanding him. I mean, he can tell us night and day, like, whatever he wants. Like last night for dinner, he said fries, because that's his favorite, and that was what he wanted. He can tell us potty whenever he needs to go. And so that's just really huge for us. His therapists all are amazed by the progress that they've seen with him. He started out the beginning of this school year, playing with toys appropriately, but alone, like away from other kids.
Right.
Now he goes right up with them, and he'll play alongside of them. And sometimes he'll like try to attempt to play with them.
Wow.
He does circle time. And so one of my favorite stories actually just happened, was in his Sunday school. They do circle time, I guess, in Sunday school, and they watch a video. Well, he usually, runs around because he has sensory issues of like a lot of people being around and different environments, even though he's been there before. And so a few weeks ago, his Sunday school teacher, she said, "Sherry, I am so amazed." She said, "Paxton sat with all the other kids right there in them, like right with them, and watched the whole video." And that's not my son, like that's, I was like, "Are you talking about Paxton?" And she was like, "Yeah." And she said that she got to hug on him and love on him and give him kisses, and he reaches up his hands to her, and he doesn't know her that well. So, and that's what his teachers all say the same thing about him. Like, he gives them hugs and kisses, and he's interacting more, he's talking more. It's really just coming along, and it's amazing. It's really incredible.
So you're really looking at tiny steps toward recovery every
Yes.
single day with him. You're getting
every single day. Yep, every day. His teacher told me, so in North Carolina, you get your therapies through the school system. So he has a preschool that he goes to. It's a long day. It's a typical day. He's there right now. It's like 7:30 to 2:30. And he gets his speech and OT a couple times a week there. But it's essentially like a classroom, just like other kids. Yeah. And when we had our parent-teacher conference, I asked her, I said, I know that this is probably a really hard question for you to answer, but, you know, what are we looking at in terms of kindergarten? And she told me, she said, I have no doubt in my mind he's going to be mainstreamed by the time he's kindergarten age. She said, no doubt in my mind. He might need some supports because, you know, he is constantly moving. It's hard for him to sit still. But as he matures, that does get better. As he gets older, that gets better. And the more therapies and supplements and to make his body, because his body was just all out of sorts. Right. And so with the whole combination of everything that we've been doing for him and that you've shown us too, it's just incredible when you look at the science, you look at the direct evidence of what is the snapshot of what's going on with this child, how you can help is incredible. I mean, here's Paxton and he's expected to be fine one day, you know, a little quirky, but I mean, aren't we all?
Quirky's okay.
Yeah.
So if you were to give advice or encouragement to the mom who you were 3 years ago, what would you say?
It's so hard. I have such a heart for people that post, you know, and say things online, and it's so hard for me. I'll never forget that dark space I was in. Like, really, it's the worst feeling I've ever felt in my entire life. I was so afraid. If I could give anyone advice in that time frame, it's just that it's possible to heal. You know, I would tell that person that there's a reason why people act the way they do. And there's help for what's going on. If you're willing to put in the work and make sure that it's the right people, you know, because I feel like the right therapists, the right doctors, and everybody, it's all just a combination for hope and healing, you know. And I would have told that person that it's gonna be okay. It really is going to be okay. Like, because I look back on pictures of Paxton when he was just a baby, and it makes me so sad, you know, because I feel like I missed out on more love and affection. I already did. I loved him to death tremendously, but I worried so much more than I felt like I was calm and at peace. And your children feel that, you know, and so I would have switched that up if I knew that it is possible to, you know, be okay and help your child.
Well, you've done an amazing job with your kid. I tell you what, and I just can't wait to see where he ends up, you know?
Yeah.
I'm so happy to be part of your circle and, you know, part of Paxton's team of people. And I just thank you for putting your trust in me and just letting me be part of watching this amazing kid grow up and recover.
Oh, well, we love you so much. I can't wait to see you at the conference.
Oh my gosh, that's right. Yeah.
So we wouldn't change it for a thing. You're a lifelong asset. We must have you.
Aw, well, thank you so much for sharing your story and letting me share it with the masses, you know, because I feel like there's just too much ugly out there talking about, you know, like you said, find a group home, you know, prepare for the worst. These are kids who can get better. I mean, recovery is possible. There should be hope around those words instead of, feeling like, oh my gosh, this is a death sentence, because it isn't. So
that's what it felt like. That's definitely what it felt like, was a death sentence. Yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Sherry, and tell that sweet boy happy birthday and give him a hug from me. And thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, you're welcome. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.